My name is John Wimmer. I'm a former college football player who played on the offensive line for 4 years. A man who has been too damn heavy for too damn long. Happy to say I have started my own weight loss and fitness journey. Over the past month, I've become more meticulous than ever about my training, my diet, everything surrounding that. And I'm here today to show it with the world, hopefully help a few people learn from both my mistakes and my successes I made along the way. This is going to be a monthly-ish series where I share the progress I made over each training block, tell you what went good, what went bad, what I would change, and then also, if you watch it month to month, you'll see me progress and you'll see what I change. I will probably also say why I change things so you can learn and grow with me. In the grand scheme, my lifting goals are fairly simple. I want to get lighter but still maintain the muscle mass that I have. I ended my last year of college ball weighing around 300 pounds, which is absolute hell for all the joints, tendons, and ligaments in your body to try to walk around like that day to day, let alone play a sport at a high level. Actually, a few weeks ago, I had a body scan test done. I weighed in at 292 pounds at 29% body fat, which, with rough, very rough calculations, I could probably drop down to around 240 pounds and still be around 15% body fat, which is generally the area that most people get abs. It's normally in that 10 to 20 range, depending on the person. Um, Also, that is taking into account I will most likely lose some muscle mass as I slim down. It's almost guaranteed to happen. Although I obviously want to keep as much as possible, which is why I'm planning on doing a very extended cut. Currently, my plan is to go basically 3 months, cutting down probably on 1 to 1.5 pounds per week, followed by a 1 month of sort of maintenance phase just to give myself a break from dieting so that I don't hate my life all the time. Once the cut is finally over, I would like to do some form of competitive bodybuilding, although that is well over a year out from happening. Easily looking at year and a half before any thought of that, like actually stepping on stage. Nice. Other things, injury rehab. From football, my body is fucked up. It's most notably is my hand. I broke it in April, so around 9 months before recording this. It's still pretty messed up. I mean, I struggled to use it all of my last football season. Now the reality, probably shouldn't have played. Probably should have started rehabbing. But what's done is done. I'm gonna start that rehab process now. Get back to doing everything I used to be able to do with it. His end goal is probably be able to get back into like a front rack position, like I would on a front squat or a hang clean or a knee clean. But yeah, then also get back to a normal bench grip, which is what I'm working on right now. Along with hand, I also have a lot of minor injuries, mainly in the lower part of my body, which is why I'm not going to be doing things like back squatting for a while. I'm going to let those heal up. Yeah, that's one of the big reasons why I'm not going to do that. The other is because I don't want to. I've been back squatting basically once, maybe twice a week, every single day for the last 6 years. And you know what? I don't want to anymore. I would rather do something else. That's why as for these first few months of me lifting on my own away from football and all, replaced with the hack squat. Absolutely love it. But we'll get into more of that later. So, in the terms of just this 4 week little cycle here, main goal was to lose around a pound a week. I started out at 293.2 pounds, ended at 288.8. So that was a total difference of 4.4 pounds down, which is a huge win, especially because this little training block did include the holidays, which had me eating a lot of foods I really shouldn't have, and also a lot of fast food just because of the traveling I was doing. One thing I hope to see throughout this new lifting journey that I'm going on is I would like to see some of my muscle imbalances fade away. The two most notable ones are my left arm is close to an inch bigger than my right. Uh, at the start of this, I measured my left arm. It was 19 and 3/8 inches big, and my right was 18 and a half. So almost an inch difference. Although by the end of this little training block, that difference was narrowed down to around half an inch. So a solid 3/8 of an inch closer together now. So I'm gonna take that as a win. Another big thing was my left calf was around 3/4 of an inch bigger than my right one. Yes, I attribute that to my left leg was always my forward leg whenever I would be doing any sort of sprinting like that. Left leg was always in front, so always would be pushing off that, which that makes sense why it would be bigger. Another thing I was very excited to see was my waist over this last training block. It shrunk by over an inch. It was 1 1/8 inches smaller, which is really cool to see an actual physical measurement change and not just a number on the scale changing. For each exercise I did in my program, I will be giving a letter grade based on how much I enjoyed having them in my program. So, the letter grade is going to be based on the effectiveness, the learning curve, the ability to progressively overload, and how much fun I had doing them. Another thing to note is for weeks 2 through 4 of the training block, the last set of just about every exercise was taken till failure. So whenever I do a little pop-up thing and it shows a plus by the number of reps, that means that set was taken till failure. Then for my training split for this training block, I did push, pull, legs, rest, upper, lower, rest for the 7 days. One thing I tried to emphasize in this program was putting maximal stress on muscles while putting minimal stress on my joints because I feel like an old man and I would like to still grow my muscles, but actually let my joints have a chance to recover. Which is why I'm prioritize things like range of motion, tempo, stretch on the muscles, and just how they overall felt. Just make sure if something feels funny, it's probably not good. Also, another thing to note, a lot of these days I would add a little random cardio in, anything from walking like a quarter of a mile to a mile, just randomly thrown in. No real um, pattern to it. It's just sort of whenever there was time, you know. My first lift of the week was my push day, where I started with a close grip incline bench for 4 sets of 8. That is the only really bench variation that I can do with my hand comfortably is a close grip because it doesn't really move properly side to side. So that's why I did that. And overall, I absolutely love the close grip incline bench. It puts a massive amount of stress on the triceps and upper chest, and it is super easy to progressively overload. For my program, it's easy A plus. Next up was a cable Y raise for 4 sets of 8 each side. For these, They felt really good towards the end of my program. However, they felt very limited in the ability to overload. They took a long time to learn. It's just sort of a funny movement pattern. I'm not sure that I love these. For me, they rank out as a B just because at the end of the day, they still hammer the shit out of your side delts. So they do their job, but I don't love them. Up third was the overhead tricep extension for 4 sets of 8 with an easy bar attachment, which once again, I absolutely loved these. It puts the triceps into a lengthened position overhead, which just gives an amazing stretch for the triceps. And the pump you get from it is absolutely killer. I give them an A. After that was cable flies for 3 sets of 10, which is another exercise I'm a huge fan of as it allows for a massive range of motion for the pecs, gives a crazy pump, and lastly, if you keep your form strict at the very end, you're taking that last set till failure, you can sort of move your body to force an extra rep out, which I'm a big fan of. Although, at the same time, I say you can move your body around to get that extra rep. That instability is there the entire time. So they can feel a little bit unstable, a little bit shaky, which, I mean, maybe next time if I do these, I might try them seated. That's how I'd probably change that, make it a little bit better for me. But for what I did, I give them a B plus. Still an excellent exercise. And lastly, to finish my push day, I did 2 sets of 12 on easy bar skull crushers. Where these were probably my least or second least favorite exercise I picked for the program. The easy bar just limits range of motion too much for my liking. At least a comfortable range of motion for me. Trying to get that bar pass behind my head, it just doesn't feel good on the shoulders. But if I keep it to where I'm only going down to the top of my head, it just doesn't feel that great on the triceps. So yeah. Also, these are insanely easy to cheat on to force extra reps. I mean, I'm just not really a fan. They get a C minus for me. Second day of the week was pull day, and my pull day started off with 4 sets of 8 of Penlay rows, which I actually prefer a Penlay row over a conventional barbell row. The things that I really like about them is they actually force your body to stay in that bent over position. Where with a barbell row, half the time when people do barbell rows, they're basically standing straight up. I mean, you and me have both seen it before. Yeah, like it makes you stay actually bent over. Uh, Eliminates you using any sort of momentum to try to move the bar. Also, it actually gives you the ability to brace in between reps. Actually gives you a chance to breathe, unlike a bent over row would. Yeah, overall, absolutely love these. They light up your entire back. They get an easy A from me. No question about it. After that, I moved into some Bayesian curls for 4 sets of 10. These may be my new favorite bicep exercise. Absolutely love these because they put your bicep into a lengthened position and it eliminates your ability to use any sort of momentum to do the curl. So it is purely bicep moving that weight. They remind me a lot of incline dumbbell curls, which I used to do a lot. But unlike the incline dumbbell curl, these actually keep that tension through the cable throughout the entire movement. I love this exercise. The pump you get from it makes you feel like your skin is about to rip. Love it. These are great. I give them an A plus plus plus. I'd give it more if I could, but A plus will land with that. Next was a single arm kneeling cable pull down for 3 sets of 8. These were a solid back builder for me throughout the program. The range of motion allowed because of the single arm nature feels really good because it allows for a massive stretch for your lats and your teres. Also, the kneeling position is very stable without having to get any extra equipment like a bench to set up. Really easy to set up. Great range of motion, great stimulus. These get an A minus from me. Next up, face pulls for 3 sets of 12. which I'm, again, a huge fan of these. Uh, Absolutely kill your upper back and your rear delts. I mean, they're insanely easy to learn, insanely easy to do. You can overload them very easily on a cable machine. The pump that they give is pretty damn good. Easy an A plus from me. Next are trap or hex bar shrugs. I did a mix of both just because I was on vacation. I think I went to 4 total different gyms throughout the 4 weeks. So it was just whatever I had available to me. Uh, yeah, did them for 3 sets of 10. I'm actually a really big fan of these. As somebody who, and that's coming from somebody that doesn't really like to train their traps. Um, yeah, you can overload these pretty easily. You can load them fairly heavy. I like the trap bar or a hex bar just because it completely eliminates grip as a factor. Um, it also stops your shoulders from rounding forward like a pair of dumbbells would. And the only knock I have is setting up a trap bar or a hex bar to do these is kind of a pain. But besides that, they're solid. They get an A from me. Then I finish out my pull days with dumbbell curls for 2 sets of 12. And these are the gold standard bicep exercise for a reason. Dumbbell curls are so good. I don't need to say anything else. A. Day 3 is leg day. We start out with 4 sets of 6 on leg press. On these, I really tried to maximize my range of motion because all of the joints and stuff in my lower body is messed up. So yeah, try to make it more difficult for the muscles while reducing the load on the joints. Also get them training back through that full range of motion that they kind of missed out on when doing lifts and training specifically for football. Leg presses, leg presses are also a very fun change of pace for me because, again, like I said earlier, I have been back squatting for so long. That's been the primary quad glute movement I've been doing for so long. It's nice to just do something else. But yeah, I found it really fun. These grade out for me as an A minus, A minus. Not quite an A. They're close. Next up were barbell RDLs for 3 sets of 8. I have to say, barbell RDLs might be my favorite glute slash hamstring exercise because they are easy to progressively overload, feel damn good, and they absolutely light up the back of your legs. Absolutely love barbell RDLs. They get an A plus from me. Next up is a seated calf raise for 3 sets of 10. I'm not really sure if I prefer these over a standing calf raise. I did end up doing those too throughout this program. It's When I do a seated calf raise, I feel a lot more stable and I feel like I'm able to push harder and I can feel like I can more comfortably get into a deeper range of motion, but pump's not there and I'm a fan of that. So for those reasons, they get an A. They're still really good. They're just missing that, which is a little disappointing. But then to finish out, my leg day had single leg squats for 3 sets of 10 for each leg. And this leg is to get some single leg work to hopefully help eliminate some of those muscle imbalances that I have and also take a little bit of load off from the joints. And another big thing, these help work ankle flexion, try to get that knee over the toe because my ankle mobility is absolutely horrendous. My knees do not go forward over my toes. It's really bad. I need to fix it. But overall, these get an A. Day 4 of the training block was cardio day. For cardio, I didn't really follow a plan. Um, some days, typical one was just go for a walk, get like 3 miles in, nothing crazy. But I mean, some days I would skip it and replace it with. One day I was just moving. I counted that as my cardio because I was running across town, moving boxes, stuff like that. That's cardio, right? Right? Oh, that's what I counted it as. So yeah, upper body was day 5 of the training block. It started out with 4 sets of 8 on a close grip barbell bench, which, just like the incline version, I am a huge fan of. Pretty much everything I said there applies here. They get an A plus. Love these. Lat pull downs for 4 sets of 6 were next, and I'm not sure why, but lat pull downs were just not it for this training block for me. I absolutely love them. I've loved them in the past. I've been doing them for years. Huge fan of them, but this time they just didn't hit the same for me. Not sure why. I think maybe reducing the reps kind of does it for me. Why I don't like it, I don't. I was doing 8 in the past, 8, 10, but specifically for these, the 4x6, I don't know, it's just was not there for me. So typically these would be about an A, but something was just off for me. Maybe I've been doing for too long, need a break. Maybe the sets of 6 kind of got to me, but yeah, this time around they got a B minus for me, which is why I did actually end up switching this in my next training block out for something a little bit different, which if you tune in next time, you'll see what I did. Next is machine shoulder press for 3 sets of 6, which I really liked. This is my first time doing any sort of machine shoulder pressing. The stability that you get from it is really nice compared to dumbbells. You can push quite a bit harder without having to worry about your shoulders flaring out, anything like that, any risks there. These get an A from me. Blue vases were the next exercise I did for 3 sets of 12. And they may be, once again, this is one of top 3 exercises in this training block for me. They absolutely destroy the side delts. The pump is insane. They're fun. They look sick as fuck when you do them. You feel cool as fuck too. The only gripe I have is they're kind of tough to progressively overload. Um, as for the next training block, I guess the one I'm currently doing while recording this, I did drop the reps so I can up the weight on these. When I do them, I think I'm gonna keep following that pattern where 1 week will bump up, or 1 month, one block will bump up the reps, keep the weight. Then the next one, we will drop the reps, up the weight. But yeah, these are good. A plus for me. Love them. Then lastly, finish off with a superset of barbell curls and French press, both for 2 sets of 12. These were mainly just to get a pump. There's not really much else to it. Just wanted to finish out the day by getting an arm pump, which I mean, that's just for fun. But yeah, these both absolutely did their job. Uh, Barbell curls are very solid bicep builder. They feel pretty good on the hand right now, but yeah, really like them. Then French press. I was a little disappointed in the French press. They're not nearly as fun as I remember. Uh, you don't really get as great of a range of motion because the dumbbell, moving a dumbbell behind your neck, it's a little bit of a rough movement pattern, but it did its job. The barbell curls get an A plus for me. The French press gets a C plus. Finishing off the week was a lower body day, which started with a seated hamstring curl for 4 sets of 8, which the main function of these I used to get my knees warmed up. This was one of the few exercises that I would not take to failure because there was exercises later on targeting the same things that I would take to failure that would push a lot harder. But on these, they were purely to get the knees warmed, and they absolutely crushed it doing that, which is why they get an A grade from me. Next up was hack squats for 4 sets of 6, which hack squats became the main compound lift I would use to help grow my quads during this training block. Absolutely loved them. They absolutely kill the legs. You feel like you can't walk, which, you know, in terms of training, that is a good thing. Um, yeah, it keeps your quads heavily involved like a back squat, but the added stability is really nice just because it takes a load off the back. My knees don't hurt as bad. My hips feel good. But yeah, they were an absolute game changer for my legs. Yeah, not much else to say. These get an A plus. Next are dumbbell RDLs for 3 sets of 10, which I have to say, I prefer the barbell version. When I do dumbbell RDLs, I feel that it's tougher to maintain a solid upper back posture, as the shoulders, they can easily round forward when you're doing dumbbell RDLs. I also find it a lot more difficult to brace as compared to with a barbell, which is why dumbbell RDLs get a B minus from me. After that, we're standing calf raises for 3 sets of 12. Unlike the seated version of calf raises, these feel a lot more unstable to me. I may just need to change what I stand on because, admittedly, I was doing them, I would stand on a little thin bar thing. It was maybe like an inch, inch and a half thick. Not the most stable thing to stand on. And I guess me from the next training block who actually did switch this up, that is what I needed to do. Yeah, that absolutely fixed it for me. Is actually standing on something a little bit wider. But yeah, I will say with standing, I use a Smith machine. As you can see from the video, likely on screen, I did a Smith machine calf raise for these. These felt really good. They do beat out the seated calf raise in the pump department. The pump from these is absolutely nutty. But because of the instability issues I faced with it, although self-inflicted, these get a B plus for me. Still a great exercise. Up next is the quad extension for 3 sets of 12. And I have to say, these are my favorite quad isolation exercise. On these, I also added some longer tempos on the eccentric to help out my knees a bit because they hurt a lot because I'm an old man. Yeah, these help a lot with my patellar tendonitis, adding in that eccentric. They, they make it feel so much better. Highly recommend it for anybody that's facing issues like that. Uh, these are also an amazing exercise because you can push your quads to failure really easily and also squeeze out some partial reps after you take them to absolute failure. These get an A plus. Lastly, to wrap up everything, was bodyweight tibialis raises for 2 sets of 15. And honestly, not a huge fan of these. The range of motion really isn't good. I ended up throwing a plate under my heels for some of it. But the thing is, compared to the other options of training your tibs, your tibialises, these just are subpar. Throwing a kettlebell over your foot is a lot easier. It's a lot easier. It feels a million times better because there are better options out there. This is actually probably my least favorite exercise I have in the training block, which is why these get a D plus. Looking towards the future, or technically for me, the current, as this is being recorded 2 weeks into the next training block. This next training block is going to be another 4 weeks of hypertrophy work, as well as a continuation of the cut. The goal is going to be get down to 284 pounds, which is fairly realistic. It's only a 4.8 pound drop, which isn't a whole lot. Uh, as far as the lifting program is concerned, the training block is going to be hypertrophy size focused again. Going to reuse a lot of the same exercises. The ones that are going to change up, most of them are just going to be slight variations, still hitting the same core muscles, just a different variation or different exercise. Just give some new life into it so I'm not pounding my head against the wall. Get to switch things up, have some fun. This concludes my first monthly training block check-in. If you made it this far, please leave a like and subscribe to see the progress I make every month. If you want the lifting program I use, there will be a link in the video's description. Also down there will be links to my Instagram and TikTok pages where I'll be posting some short form content. So if you want to see more frequent updates from me, check those out. Hope to see you in the next one. God bless. My first lift of the week was a push day, where our first exercise was a close grip,